What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Deuce Show. And there's not going to be any theme music tonight. There's not going to be any Detroit basketball tonight because, unfortunately, the Pistons suffer a disappointing loss to the Dallas Mavericks. Before we get into it, I want to say what's up to everybody who was here. Appreciate you guys always showing up and showing out as you always do. We're going to get to this game in full. Got a lot to cover in this game. Hope everybody's being safe, first of all, first and foremost, on this Friday night. It's weekend time, so it's time to turn up if you want to turn up, turn down if you want to turn down. But either way, just be safe and make sure that you guys are enjoying your weekend safely. All right. Before I get into this game, guys, I want to give, well, not even a shout out. I want to just show some love and send love to the family of George Foreman, Big George Foreman, man. We lost George Foreman today. He passed away at the age of 76. And for those who remember, I wasn't around when he was, in his prime boxing, but he's a legend. George Foreman is a legend, man. One of the best boxers in the history of the sport. And he just was such a huge impact on the sport. And this is a very, very sad day for the boxing world and the sports world in general, man. So I definitely want to, send some love and prayers to his family. And I ask that you guys all do the same. Rest in peace to George Foreman, man. Legend. All right. I see you guys all in the chat, man. Devon, yeah. What's going on, bro? Deuce, why you always sound a little sad? Because I am, bro. This is terrible. Terrible loss, man. Not a good game. And the Pistons are 2-1. They went 2-1 in their road trip. They should have won 3-0, but 2-1 on the road trip is still solid. But these are the kind of games you can't afford to have as you get closer and closer to the playoffs. All right, so let's go ahead and get to this game, man. Like I mentioned, the Pistons lost tonight to the Mavericks on the road. Last game of the road trip. They lose 123-117. And first things first, I want to give the Mavericks some credit. Let's start there, right? As poorly as I think the Pistons played, I think the Mavericks played solid, especially considering who they did and did not have available. So I don't want to take anything away from them. But if we keep it in the stack, if we keep it in the buck, the Pistons shouldn't have lost this game, man. They should not have lost this game. The Mavericks were absolutely depleted. They were depleted. They were without AD, Anthony Davis. He didn't play. Kyrie Irving didn't play. Derek Lively didn't play. Daniel Gafford didn't play. Dante Exum didn't play. Caleb Martin didn't play. Just to name more than a few. Half their team is out. The Dallas Mavericks are in danger, guys. They're in jeopardy of having to forfeit games if one or two guys get injured. I think you need to have at least 8 players on your active roster per game. And if you don't, you forfeit the game. The Mavs, I believe, have 9 available in the Pistons loss. So you can't afford to lose these kind of games. I don't care how hard the other team plays. If they beat you, if an undermanned team is able to beat you in that kind of fashion, it means you didn't play as well as you were supposed to play. Because when you match their toughness and you match their energy and you match their hustle, you're going to win the game. And you're right, Devon. The Mavs did take the Pacers to the wire their last game, but the Pacers won the game. They got it done when they needed to. They got stops down the stretch when they needed to. They executed late in the game when they needed to. I watched the last few minutes of that game. I didn't watch the whole game. I'm not going to sit up here and cap. But they got it done in the clutch when they needed to get it done. The Pacers are going to be a problem in the playoffs, guys. We'll get to that later, but I don't want to play the Pacers in the first round. It's not that I don't think we can beat them. I just think they're more consistent than we are right now. They've had more experience. But back to us, man. Back to the Pistons, right? Yeah, man, this was definitely, it had that, like tonight watching this game, it just felt like the Pistons just were not going to be able to get over the hump. It felt a lot like the Miami Heat game, last game, where the Pistons' biggest lead was off Cade's three-pointer at the end of the game. That the three-point lead they had to win the game was their biggest lead of the game. The Miami Heat controlled the game pretty much from beginning to the last 45 minutes of the game, right? And that's how this game felt tonight. They were able to get it done against the Heat, but not tonight. Just so many mistakes, so many executional errors, so many unforced errors, just a lack of focus. It's a bad loss, man. And I'm not gonna go crazy over one game, but I'm really paying attention to how the Pistons are playing as they get closer and closer to the playoffs. Everything right now is about the playoffs and gearing up for the playoffs and creating good habits going into the playoffs and just having momentum and a rhythm going into the playoffs. And these are the kind of games you want to win if you're going to do that. Not so much about wins and losses. but you want to go into the playoffs with a certain type of attitude and approach to every single game consistently. And when you have letdowns like tonight, that doesn't really help with that. So a lot of guys returned to Dallas. There are a lot of guys on our team with Dallas ties. You know, Cade, obviously, he's from Arlington, which is about a half hour from Dallas. And I said Dallas, but I meant Texas. A lot of guys returned to Texas. A lot of ties to Texas. Cade and Ron are both from Texas. THJ returned to his former team. He's not from there, but he returned to his former team in the Dallas Mavericks, who he played for last season, in a few seasons, I believe. I think Asar Thompson has ties to Texas. So a lot of guys have ties to the state of Texas. Homecoming for Cade. Cade had the whole family in the building. The whole family was there. I think everybody but Nard was there. Ashton was there. I think Jalen was in the building. Ashton's brother. Cannon was in the building. Both of their parents, you know, Cade and Cannon's parents were in the building. Ashton had a son with him in the building. Cade's sister, Kay was there. Kay was in the building. Like, everybody was there. So I really was hoping they were going to get a win. And you could tell watching this game that Cade wanted to get a win. I think Cade's grandparents were even there, if I saw correctly on the screen when they showed them. I think they were there as well. So the whole family was there. I think the Woods were there. So I don't know. But either way, the whole family was there, man. And it was just hard to watch the game because Cade really wanted to get this dub. This was his first game playing in Dallas in the NBA. I think the games that he's in the past, I think he's either been hurt. I think he's been hurt for the games before. He's played the Mavericks before at home, but he has never played in Dallas. So I was really hoping he could just pull this out. And you could just see how he was playing. He didn't want to lose it. He didn't want to lose it. But it happens sometimes, man. The Pistons didn't do enough. They did not do. That's what it was. Organic. You're right. Sasser. That was the other guy I was thinking about too. Sasser's also from Texas. I was hoping he might be able to get a little run in this game, but didn't work out. So yeah, man, I'm trying to be positive here, but it's hard for me right now. Just watching this game, it was just so frustrating to watch. So my initial thoughts. Let's get to the initial thoughts, and we'll get to the box score, right? So the first things first, man. And I thought this was so indicative of tonight. Before the game even started, shout out to Greg Kelser. Greg Kelser said something very important. And he said the NBA sequence, when it comes to development, as far as teams growing and building and becoming a contender, growing from a young team into a contender, you need three things. Let me get myself off the screen and I'll show you guys what it is. Are the three most important things you can have. And I think the Pistons tonight exhibited a couple of those, but not all of those, right? They are a team that is now competing for the most part on a night-to-night basis, right? And they are learning to win, but they're not learning how to do it. They're not doing it consistently yet. They're not doing it consistently yet. And tonight was an example of that. We've seen the Pistons this season win a lot of games they're not supposed to win, or at least at that point in time, we didn't think they could win because we didn't know how good they were yet. But, you know, they were a team that were just getting wins, stacking up, you know, beating the Boston Celtics, for example. You know, games you don't think they're going to win that they get. Games that in the past they would lose. And so they are showing signs that they can win. So they're doing 1 and 3 of what Greg Kelser was saying, right? They're learning how to compete and they're learning how to win. But they're not doing it consistently enough yet. And that's what's going to take time. So, you know, it's all growing pains. I mentioned the guys early in the season. We're going to have, with such a young team, we're going to have growing pains. You're going to have games like this. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have peaks and valleys. You're going to be frustrated, and then you're going to be pleasantly surprised, right? With certain games. It just goes that way. It's how it goes. So that's why I'm not tripping over tonight, because I understand the process. I understand that these kind of games are built in. They're baked in to an 82-game season. Every single year, you have these kind of games. You have letdown games. Right, the Pistons haven't had a ton of letdown games. Right, I can honestly say that they have not had a ton of letdown games or disappointing, where it's just like, bro, we definitely let that one slip away. We haven't had a ton of those, you know, at least not since we've been playing much better in Inspired basketball the last couple of months. Right, so I'm not gonna lose it over this one game because MB will win a good point. We got to keep things in perspective. We were on track to win 40 games tonight, which has not been done since 2008. Once again, there's that number again. There's that year again. Everything comes back to that. But the Pistons are 23 games, or 26 games, I'm sorry, better than they were last season, or they would have been had they won tonight. They're currently at 39 wins, so they're 25 games, to be exact, better than they were last season, with 11 more games to go. So I'm not going to go crazy with that, but they do need to start tightening up on their consistency if they want to get past the first round of the playoffs. I'll just say that much for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, man. So, you know, the Pistons I was just watching the game, and they just were not able to establish themselves. From the very beginning of the game, they did not hit first. We always talk about it, right? They did not punch first. They did not hit first. They got punched in the mouth. They did not seem like they were prepared for the type of intensity that the Mavericks were going to bring. And they should have been, because you know when teams are depleted and undermanned, it's next man up. And that next man up is getting an opportunity that they don't usually get. And when they get that opportunity, they want to make the most of it, which means they're going to play hard. It's just how it goes. And the Pistons just did not come ready to play early in the game. They were never able to take control of the game. I think they were down the entire game. Did the Pistons even lead this game? Maybe they did when they were up 3-0. Tobias Harris opened the game with a 3, and they were up 3-zip. Not long after that, they did not lead again. But aside from the scoreboard, man, they just weren't able to set any type of tone. They weren't able to string together possessions on both ends of the court. Get a stop, get a score, get a stop, get a score. They could not do that for anything tonight. They were mirroring whatever Dallas was doing. If Dallas got a stop, if Dallas scored the ball, the Pistons come get a score. If Dallas missed a shot, the Pistons come miss a shot. They could not convert defense into offense at all. And that's why I give the Mavs credit, because the game plan for them was to guard the three-point line in the transition. They were not allowing Malik Beasley or anybody else to get open shots in this game. They were making sure that they were on their P's and Q's defensively, so I got to give them credit for that. But the Pistons were not able to get to what they like to get to. They just were not. And I don't know why, man, but there was so many players just bobbling the basketball. Everybody was bobbling the basketball. It was weird, man. Like, even guys who you don't normally see lose control of the bat. Like, even K was bobbling at times. Nobody could seem to hold on to the ball, pause, on either team. But in that first half, I gotta say, the bench did come up big. In both halves, honestly, the bench provided that spark. The bench played with an energy that the Mavericks' entire team played with from beginning to end, right? That was part of the difference. And honestly, that was the bright spot for me. Other than Cade, who we're going to get to, the bright spot was the bench for me. And that's not to say that some of the starters didn't play well, but the bench unit really stepped up. Both times in the first and third quarters, particularly late in the first and third quarter and early in the second and fourth quarter, they stepped up. And honestly, that depth, guys, we talked about it already, but that's why I don't want the Pistons to trade for a star. That's exactly why, because they're going to have to sacrifice their depth. They're gonna have to sacrifice their culture setters. If you're gonna get a star, you gotta move guys like Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart, Jaden. Like those are the guys you're gonna have to come up off of. And I'm just not willing to do it. That's why I don't think it's something that Pistons can afford to do, considering what Coach Bickerstaff have said about this team. He talked about the depth of this team all the time. So you lose that. If you push your chips into the middle of the table right now too early in your development process, you're just really shooting yourself in the foot. So had to say that because, you know, there's a lot of discourse about all that stuff. We'll get to that later. But let me get to this. Dominique, what's going on, bro? What's going on, man? You know I always appreciate you. You always show love, man. Always showing love, man. I appreciate you, bro. Let me see what Dominique got to say. We're going to leave this up here and check this out. Fumbling the ball all over the place. Missing free throws in the fourth. I know we're young, but it's frustrating when we play bad or depleted teams. We show up like the opponent is going to lay down and get punched in the mouth. On to the next. Bro, every time you say something on here, bro, you be preaching the gospel. Like, I agree once again with everything that you said. Let's take this apart like we always do, piece by piece. We talked about the first thing he said. He already mentioned it. Fumbling the ball all over the place. Everybody was just bobbling the ball. Some guys on this team have a propensity to do that already. Like, some guys are just very butterfingery when it comes to the basketball. They're moving too quick. We're going to get to that too, right? They just can't hold on to the ball. Yeah, free throws missed in the fourth quarter. Cade missed 2 in the fourth quarter. Schroeder missed, I think, 1 or 2 in the fourth quarter. Guys who don't usually miss free throws in crunch time miss free throws. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, this game just felt like one of those games, didn't it? It just felt like one of those games, one of those baked in games that's going to be annoying, that you know you're supposed to win, but circumstance, just the ball doesn't bounce your way. Shots don't fall that are supposed to fall. You know, offensive rebounds come back to guys when they miss shots, and the Pistons play good defense and a long offensive rebound. They can't secure the ball, and they get the offensive rebound that the other team does and gets a three. Like, it just felt like that kind of game to me. Along with the Pistons not really bringing it from tip, it just felt like that kind of game. And those are the most frustrating games to watch. When you know you're better than the other team, but it's not translating to the scoreboard. That's frustrating. And that's what this felt like. Then he goes on to say, Dominique does, I know we're young, but it's frustrating when we play bad or depleted teams. We show up like the opponent is going to lay down and get punched in the mouth. On to the next. And what they do to us, Dominique, when we thought we were just going to be the punch in the mouth. What they do? They punched us in the mouth, and we never really recovered. We never really recovered. And this is what I was saying, guys, about the Pistons' consistency. You can't play up and down to your competition. We talked about the Wizards game. They won the first one and then overlooked the second one in order to get to the Thunder, which they also lost. You got to take every game seriously. Every single game seriously. Anybody can beat you on any given night if you don't show them the respect of playing them like you would play anybody else. Straight up. Teams can tell early in games when you are not locked in. They can tell if you're playing lazy, and they want to pounce on you when you do that. And that's what happened against the Wizards, and that's what happened tonight. You cannot overlook anybody. Can't do it. And you can't play up and down to the competition. The Pistons need to approach every game the way they approach the Thunder game, the way they approach the Boston Celtics game, the way they approach the Pelicans game, the way they approach games when you can see that they have a different sense of urgency. That needs to be every single game. And that's why I'm paying attention now and putting more emphasis on these losses, even though it's just one game, because we're moving to a place in the playoffs where every game is going to matter. It's not going to be just 182. You lose 4, you're going home until next season. So you got to build that consistency now. It has to happen now. You can't just turn it on in the playoffs. Everybody's going to turn it up a notch in the playoffs. You're not just going to be able to win on hustle. You got to execute. You got to play smart. And you got to do it for 48 minutes like we always say. So, Dominique, per usual, you need to be assistant coach or something, bro, because once again, you are dead on, and we are lockstep with our thought process. You actually mentioned a few things I was going to get to later, but thanks to you, we don't have to now. We can cover it right now. So, I appreciate you, my brother, as always, man. You show a lot of love. I appreciate all you guys, but Dominique, he's been a real one, man. You really been showing me love, and I really, really appreciate that, bro. I'm going to show it right back to you every single time, so thank you. All right, so let's get back, guys, to this game here, man. Let's get to the box score. Let's get to the box score. Let's just take a look and see what happened individually in this game and how that actually affected the totality of the game, right? All right, so let's start with Cade, man. Let's start with Cade. And looking at these numbers, like, even if guys, when I check these box scores, I'm looking at them live in real time. I'm not checking beforehand and then, like, I'm looking at it as we're talking about it, right? So I want to do it that way so I get, a pretty raw reaction so we can all talk about it together. So let's get to it. So Cade tonight had 35 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 15 for 30. He shot the ball 30 times. We're going to get to that too. He shot 50%. So I'm not saying he, was taking bad shots, but just the volume is what I'm looking at. He shot 2 of 5 from 3, 3 of 5 from the free throw line, in 38 minutes. So there's a lot of things that pop out to me. The first thing is 35 points. Now, I understand that sometimes you're going to need your star to go get buckets, right? I understand that. I just don't like it when we have one guy that has to do so much, when we have so much depth on this team, right? I like Cade when he's, like, ideally, because of, well, maybe not yet, but the place we're trying to get to as a team. Like, when we're at peak Detroit Pistons basketball, I want to see Cade no more than 25 a game. I want to see Cade 24, 25 points, 8 or 9 assists, 4 or 5 rebounds, not having to do everything. Play his game, right? But play within the offense, not feeling as if he has to take over the game all the time. to where his usage and volume is just so high. I don't ever want to see Cade taking 30 shots, man. I don't want to see that. I'd rather Cade have 15 assists than 30 shots. Because we play team basketball. Yes, it runs through him, but when he's getting other guys involved, it takes pressure off of him when he does look for his own offense. And he doesn't have to have so much usage and bringing the ball up the court and taking so many shots. Like, that wears on you, in the game, especially when you're playing 38 minutes. Guys, when he was playing 38 minutes consistently, that was when we did not have Dennis Schroeder. And that's going to take us to the next point in a minute, because we know that one of our guys went down tonight, and that's probably why he had to play so many minutes. But when you're missing two guys in your backcourt, one that's been injured for a while and Jaden Ivey, and another who we're going to get to in a minute, it makes it tough. So I do understand that. I think if we have Tim Hardaway Jr. in this game, we probably do win this game. And that's the guy who got injured tonight, guys. Tim Hardaway Jr. tonight rolled his ankle in the second quarter, right? Rolled his ankle in the second quarter. And to me, that was one of the biggest difference in the game. Before we get too deep into him, though, I want to say a few more things about Cade. Cade, guys, is second in the NBA among point guards in point paints. He's averaging 12 a game. And he still is not getting a consistent whistle. He is still not getting a consistent whistle. Cade tonight shot 5 free throws. He's second in the league amongst point guards in point paints, which means he's always in the paint. And of course, he does go to his midi a lot. But other times, like tonight, he was in the post. He was in the post a ton tonight. Barbecue chicken over and over and over again. They had guys who couldn't guard him. But how do you take 30 shots and only have 5 free throws when you play as physical as he does? How many point guards you guys don't have post games in today's NBA? How many point guards can post up like Tobias Harris? How many guys? Not a lot. And you're only getting 5 free throws on 30 shots? That's crazy. That's crazy to me. I don't understand what's going on with his whistle. It's insane. Y'all got me up. I'm up here messing with my mic up, getting annoyed at this. This is crazy. this is crazy, man. But yeah, Cade, he did everything he could tonight. He did everything he could, man. He was getting it done everywhere. He was getting it done all over the court. Long range, post game, midi, pick up. Like, he was just doing everything. He was very, very intentional and aggressive about getting downhill. He did not want to lose this game, man. He did not. So I give him a ton of credit. I don't want to see his usage that high. I understand he had to because Tim Hardaway Jr. got hurt. But, it's tough, man. It's a tough game. Tough game all around. So I'm going to leave it there with Cade. Let's move on to Tim Hardaway Jr. now and talk about his injury. So second quarter, he went down. He only played 8 minutes. So he really wasn't even impactful in this game. He didn't have a chance to. He had 0 points, 1 rebound, and that's about it. He shot 0 for 2 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, and that's about it. He did not return. He did not return. So that alone just altered the Pistons' rotation. I think it kind of messed with their rhythm too. I think that messed with their rhythm too. So hopefully Tim is going to be okay. But here's the thing, guys. We have not heard anything yet about his injury. We probably got to wait till tomorrow to get MRI or something like that. Hopefully it comes back negative, right? And we know that Beasley started in place of him in the second half. So here's my question for you guys. And it's rhetorical, but I still want to see if you guys have an answer. You can post in the chat if you think you have an answer. But what does this mean for the Pistons now going forward? Let's just say THJ's out for a few games. Who's going to fill that role as shooting guard? Personally, I think it's going to be Beasley. And as far as the rest of the rotation, I think Lindy Waters, guys, may get an opportunity now off the bench. I don't think Dennis Schroeder is going to start because Key and Cade are the only 2 available point guards. They're the only 2 point guards right now we have available on this team, right? So you don't want to play both of them together and put yourself back in the same situation we had before we got Schroeder when it comes to the bench, when it's time to sub guys in. Because that's what happened before. Before we got Schroeder, Cade would play, he'd go to the bench, and there would nobody in to come in to play point guard. If you start both of those guys together, same situation. Now you're back to Beasley or Tobias Harris running the up. That's not what you want. So I think Schroeder should stay where he's at. And I think it should either be Beasley at the 2 or it could be Ron Holland. But here's why I don't think it's going to be Ron Holland. I don't think the Pistons can afford to have 3 non-shooters, 3 guys who can't stretch the floor starting. right? Because that would mean you would have Cade, Ron, Asar, Tobias, and JD. You can't have 3 of your 5 starters not able to consistently stretch the floor. You just can't have it. Even if your other 2 guys in the starting lineup are dead-eye shooters, it still makes it hard for you offensively to be able to spread the floor if you only have 2 out of 5 guys. And with the other 2 guys who can shoot the 3, being Cade and Tobias, who are not dead-eye shooters, you just can't afford to have the other 3 guys not really be spacers at all. You just can't afford to do it. So that's why I think it's going to be Beasley. So unless the Pistons, unless they plan to keep their bench unit intact, unless they want to do and maybe start a guy like Lindy Waters, I don't see that happening either, because he does not consistently play. He has not even been here long enough, I think, to start, to understand his teammates and to have that camaraderie and consistency and chemistry with his teammates. I don't know if he is there at that point. He's a good player, but I don't think he's been here long enough to just throw him in the starting lineup. I think a guy like Beasley, who has started, who's been here since the beginning of the season, right, who has chemistry with Cade, I think that's the best choice. And then you allow a guy like Waters to come in and play the Beasley role when Beasley sits down in the starting role. That to me is what makes the most sense. And honestly, guys, this wouldn't even be a problem if we had a guy like Jaden Ivey available. Wouldn't even be an issue. All the shuffling around with the starting lineup and the bench units would not be a problem if you had a guy like Jaden who can play the 1 or the 2. He's the only guy I mentioned other than Cade that has the size and ability to play the 1 or the 2, right? We know Asar can't play the 1 and the 2. He's not a 2. He can play the point forward sometimes, right? We know Beasley and THJ, those guys are strictly 2s, right? And Schroeder is a 1, but he's not really big enough to play 2. Jaden Ivey is the only other guy who can play the 1 and the 2 from a size standpoint and from an ability and dynamic and the versatility standpoint. He's the only guy. So if he's not here, it's gonna be tough. It always, thank you, Devon. It always comes down to Jay. I hate to keep harping on it, but sometimes when guys are absent, and you really see how important guys are in their absence. Schroeder can play the 1 or the 2, but he's undersized. Chest ready. He's undersized. He's not a big guard. So unless you're gonna have Cade guard the 2s and have Schroeder guard the 1s, that's the only way you can do it. It's the only way. But once again, if you start Schroeder, you're starting both of your point guards together. And you got to have Beasley off the bench when he comes in to be the point guard. That's not what you want. You have no point guard other than those 2 guys. You start them together, you're back in the same situation before you had Schroeder. It doesn't make sense, So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Dominic says, or hear me out, dudes. We start Bobby at the 3 and slide us. Oh, okay, you thinking. Okay, you thinking, bro. Okay, let's see. Hear me out, dudes. We start Bobby at the 3. Okay, slide Asar to the 2. Okay, just from my entertainment. Oh, just from my entertainment. I was gonna say, because Asar in the 2, bro. That's the only thing. Asar is the worst. I think the worst place to put him is the 2, because he's just not a shooter. He can't shoot the ball. Tonight we saw it. Like, whenever he would catch the ball in the corner or on the perimeter, right? Guys were giving him that shot. PJ Washington was giving him the shot. And instead of shooting the ball, Asar consistently kept trying to barrel his way to the hoop. And sometimes he was able to get there, even though they were giving him so much space. He was still able to get there sometimes because he's just so fast. But yeah, I think the best way to go is to just go Cade, Bees, Asar, Tobias, JD, and off the bench you have Schroeder, Lindy Waters, Ron Holland, Fontecchio, Stu. I think that should be the rotation for now, right? Until we get some guys back and things like that. That will make the most sense to me. Mega Hustler said Marcus Disaster off the bench. You know what? Maybe Sasser will get some run too. Maybe Sasser can get some run. The only problem is that he's not really a point guard, so you got to make sure you utilize him the right way when he comes to the game. But I wouldn't mind seeing him and Cade in spots. As long as he's on the floor with another playmaker, because you can't have him on the floor by himself without another playmaker. It's just not going to work. He's not a point guard. He is best when he has another guard on the floor with him to play off of. So if you play him with Schroeder, maybe, but that's a very small backcourt. Playing with Cade, okay, that makes a little more sense. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful with guys like Schroeder and Sass from a size standpoint, because neither of those guys are really big. You can't really play those guys together. So it's tough. So we'll see. We'll see, man. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. So Tim Hardaway Jr., prayers up, bro. Hopefully he's back soon. Hopefully his ankle's okay. Nothing serious, and he can get back on the court whenever he can. Okay, so we just talked about Asar, right? Let's get to him. Let's get to Asar, man. A lot to say about Asar, guys. So tonight, guys, was an example for those who watched the last show, the last couple shows. Tonight, you guys saw why I call him Asar Thompson. I call him Tasmanian Thompson. That is my nickname for Asar Thompson. Tasmanian Thompson. For anybody who has watched the Tasmanian Devil, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Just watching Asar play, he is so fast, right? But sometimes he just moves way too quickly. He just moves way too quickly. He had a few plays, but there's one particular in the first half where he has a breakaway layup and he tries to go reverse, but he's moving so fast, he puts the ball off the rim and he misses the shot. He's just moving too quickly. He didn't get no glass on it, enough English on it. And so it's just like, slow down, bro. I've been saying this for about a month now. Like, you just got to slow down. He's moving too quickly. And it's almost like he's afraid that if he doesn't move fast enough, he's going to lose the ball or somebody's going to take the ball away. I think part of that, honestly, guys, is his ball handling, and he needs to work on his ball handling. When you don't handle the ball well, sometimes you want to just get rid of it really quick, make a play really quick, really quick, and that's what he seems to be doing. Sebastian, I think you're right. That was a problem, I think, a lot with Jaden last season. But I think with Jaden, though, you're right. It was that. It's different to me. It felt like with Jaden, he was just like, I'm faster than everybody, so let me just go ahead and get to the hoop. With the Asar, it just seems like frenetic. Like, I got to do something really quickly. It just seems like he's just like scatterbrained a little bit. Like he's just trying to move too fast. He's just trying to do it too quickly. But to your point, Sebastian, it is, regardless of the reason, it is a lot more of the same thing. It is a lot of the same thing happening with those two guys for different reasons, but I think you're right. So he just needs to slow down because he's so polarizing. He makes so many great plays, and then so many plays like, sorry, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Just take your time. So he's got a lot of ability, man. He just has to really just polish his game up. He's got to polish his game. And Dominique, I agree. He has to take the open shot. He has to. You got to keep the defense honest. You got to keep them honest. And if they're going to give you that much room, you got to shoot it, because if it just makes it tough. It makes it tough because they're basically just camping out waiting for the rebound, which makes it harder for guys like JD to go and get it. PJ Washington was leaving him wide open over and over and over again. So in order to change that, you got to start shooting them. And when you start shooting them, you'll knock some down. And when you do, now PJ has to come guard you. And when that happens, now JD can get the rebound easier because Asar's guy is not camping out under the hoop waiting for Asar to miss the shot. Like, it's all a domino effect. You can't not take a shot when you're open. It affects everybody else on the court. It affects the spacing. It affects the rhythm of the offense. You can't just not take the shot. So, he's got to work on that. And he has to work on his handle. And he has to slow down. He just has to slow down. He's just moving like a whirlwind. It's just like a Tasmanian devil. It's just too much. It's just too much. But even with all of that, right? Even with all of that, all of the faults, all the mistakes, all the things that happened in this game with Asar, right? Where in the world was he in the fourth quarter? Where in the world was Asar Thompson in the fourth quarter? Again, this is becoming something of a pattern now. So Asar Thompson tonight had 8 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 steal on 3 for 8 shooting, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. In 16 minutes, he had 2 fouls. So I don't want to hear it. No foul trouble. This is becoming a pattern. Last game, he played 30 minutes. First time in like a week and a half. Before that, 5 or 6 straight games in a row, 20 minutes, 21 minutes, 19 minutes. And he doesn't look to be in any distress or any pain or any frustration on the sideline. He doesn't look to be upset like he's in a doghouse. He doesn't look to be like he's hurt. He doesn't look to be even gassed, like his conditioning is failing him, or he's, had a relapse or something with his condition. It doesn't look like anything. It just looks like he's just on the sideline, just waiting for his number to get called. I don't understand what's going on. And tonight in a game when the Pistons could not stop any dribble penetration from guys like Spencer Dinwiddie, why is he not in the game? We could have used his on-ball defense. We could have used his help side defense. We could have used his playmaking, even though he was bobbling the ball. We could have used him as a threat out there. And we could have used his rebounding. So many offensive rebounds in this game given up off of long misses with three-point shots. I just don't understand why he did not come back into the game with about 2 minutes left. 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. He comes into the game. And immediately almost gets a steal. A toe on the line, out of bounds. But as soon as he came in the game, he was making an impact again. Why in the world was he not in the game until 2 minutes left? Like, I don't understand it. Like, Devon, I hear you, but you can't not play him for 10 minutes. 10 minutes? 10 minutes. If he's not playing for 10 minutes, what that means is that the guys that are playing ahead of him, like Schroeder, played 10 minutes, which means he's tired, which means it's time for him to sit down. You see what I'm saying? That's too long. If you want to say 4 or 5 minutes, okay, fine. Even 6, okay, fine. But 10? Come on, bro. Like, listen, y'all know I love Coach Bickerstaff. I'm not even trying to shade him or fault him. But what is going on? What is going on, man? Like, he's already said before that y'all know I keep it a stack. I don't pull no punches, man. I keep it a stack, right? But he said last game, or the game before last, I think, which game was that? Against the Thunder or someone? The Pelicans game. I think before the Pelicans game, he was saying that Asar is not in the doghouse. Everything's fine. It was just matchups as to why he had not gotten a chance to play much in the fourth quarter, why he was only playing 20 minutes a game. Matchups couldn't have been the case tonight because the Pistons absolutely needed him in the game for his defense. Like, I don't know if his JB is just overthinking it or what, but I don't know. Like, yeah, Michael, like, I don't know if he's, I don't know. Like, is he, I don't get it. I'm not gonna assume anything. I don't know. I just know what my 2 eyes saw. And I know what you guys' 2 eyes saw because you're putting it in the chat. The same thing I'm saying. I don't know, man. So, I mean, that's something to watch for. That's something to watch for. I hate to even say that, but no, hey, it doesn't lie, right? Our eyes are not lying to us. We know what we see. So we'll leave it at that. As Sebastian says, I love JB, but you can't preach defense, but leave dude out there that are getting blown by when we have Asar Thompson on the team. Yes, exactly. We weren't getting any resistance at the point of attack. There was like, here, oh, you want to go into the lane? Here you go. Roll red carpet out for you. Here you go. Put some bright lights on you. Get to the hoop. And you got JD or Stu trying to cover, trying to, help out and step up and hedge and then dropping it off for PJ Washington wide open. It's just like, what are we doing? Or open 3. I don't know, man. It was strange. What you got for me, Devon? I understand it, but I don't agree. JB does rely on BZ shooting too. I agree with that too. Yep, Vulture said Marshall got some easy ones, not gonna lie. Yes, he did. Najee did get some easy ones, for sure. You want that rebound? Go ahead. Right, yeah, exactly, go ahead. Oh, open 3? Go ahead, knock it down. Like, that's kind of like, we're being funny, obviously, right? But it just felt like the Pistons were just not on top of that part of the game at all. And I understand sometimes with you take a lot of threes, there's going to be some long rebounds. But tonight was just like, bro, what is going on? So, yes, last comment. Off every pick and roll, we didn't even stop the ball. That's what I'm saying. We did not rotate properly at all. And that's why I call Asar the backbone of the defense. Because he is great with that kind of stuff. He's a great rotational. Like, he's great with rotations defensively. He's great help side. He's great on ball. He's a pest. Like, if anything, that's what you want him in the game for. Even if you're not having him initiate offense. Even if you're not even having him grab the ball off the rebound and push. Even if you're just having him out there for defense. You got to have him out there. You just can't not have him out there for that long. You just can't do it. So that's my only thing with Asar. Despite all of his flaws tonight, he still would have been a plus in that fourth quarter. For sure. Sean says, do we really believe that this team can win a playoff series? If we play, it depends on who we play. I do think we will struggle mightily with the Pacers. We'll get to that later. I think we'll struggle with them. I don't want to see them. The way they're playing right now, we talk about how the Pistons are playing well. They're playing very, very well right now. The Pacers are. They just beat the T-Wolves, who have won 8 straight, missing 4 of their starters. The Pacers were. And they snapped the T-Wolves 8-game winning streak, missing 4 starters. So they're balling right now. And I watched that game too. So we'll get to that later. But yes, Ausar's impact is too big not to play him. Bottom line, mic drop. That's the best way to put it. Best way to put it. Okay, Sebastian, we need J.I. to beat the Pacers in 7. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. For sure. All right. Now let's get to Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris. And guys, by the way, the starters really didn't help us tonight. We didn't really get, well, scoring-wise. JD chipped in, but other than that, we didn't really get a lot of scoring from our starting unit other than Cade. That's why Cade had 35. He could sense that he needed to have a game like this. He could sense early in this game that he's the reason, like Cade is the reason this team stayed afloat. As crazy as that sounds, staying afloat, right, against this team depleted. But he's the reason. He could sense that this team was stuck in the mud again, and you could see him going to his back early in this game, going into his back, getting buckets, and you could just see it. So it happens. But tonight the starters did not really help us tonight. Tobias had 9 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 steals. Wow. 1 block, 2 turnovers, 4 blocks his last game. 2 turnovers, 4 for 11 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3 in 35 minutes. So I know Tobias didn't score a lot. Now that I'm thinking about it, he didn't score a lot, but he did have an impact on this game. We do need more than 9 points from Tobias. But the way he's been playing lately, I'm you know, it happens. I'm not mad at him because the effort was there. Also, he's been putting up some numbers outside of the points, outside of scoring, that are really impressive. Last game, he had a career high 4 blocks. He's played 4. This is his 14th season. He had 4 blocks last game, which is a career high. Tonight, he had 5 steals. So you're seeing, we talk about all the time, impact, right? How can you impact the game if you're not shooting the ball well? He shot 4 for 11 and still found a way to get 5 steals, get a block, get 6 rebounds, get 3 assists. Like, those are like Ron Holland, Asar Thompson type numbers. We see that Tobias has, once again, leaned in to the defense. He's leaned in to the defense. He's a finesse player who is leaning in to playing tough, gritty basketball. That is what consummate professionals do, and that's what he is. So shout out to him for finding ways to be effective in this game, man. You saw it if you watched this game. And I'm not really tripping over the scoring tonight with him, because over the last 6 games, he's averaging 16 points and 6 rebounds. And he's shooting over 40% from 3. From 3 in his last 6 games. So he's been balling. He's allowed to have a bad game here and there, stat-wise. But impact-wise, he was there. His defense was there. You see him getting like fast break, steal, like getting steals, fast break dunks and stuff like he was just doing different things. He was doing different things to impact the game. He had like 2 or 3 strips on PJ Washington, right? First play of the game, he had a strip on PJ Washington for a steal, and then came down in rhythm, caught a catch and shoot 3. Like, he is just an all-around good player, all-around solid basketball player, not just a scorer anymore. So I got to give him credit where credit's due, because he's making a concerted effort to do that. He really is. So shout out to him. Shout out to him. Organic said, I appreciate the bias intangibles, but hit 1 corner 3 in crunch time. Yeah. Was that him that missed that 3 that could have brought us to within 1? Because we were down 4. We were like, in the 4th quarter, we were like teetering between like 4 and 6 points deficit. We just couldn't get past that. I think if he makes that corner 3, we're down. No, it was either him or Fontecchio, who we'll get to. That, and he couldn't get it going either. But there was so many opportunities. Yes, okay, Devon, it was Tech. Yeah, like it was so many plays the Pistons could have just took over the game, and you could just see it was right there for the taking, and they just couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. They just could not get over the hump, and it was so frustrating to watch. And you see them come down in transition, and they get a 3, and it'd be a 6-point swing. Now instead of us being down 1, we're down 7 because we were down 4. We missed ours. They made theirs. Timeout, JB. Like it was just that kind of game, all game. That was a microcosm of the whole game. What I just said, the play I just mentioned, the whole game was like that. Like, can we just get over the hump, bro? And we just couldn't do it. We just couldn't do it. Yes, Vulture. The 6-point gap was so frustrating. It's like, and I hate when the clock is outpacing the deficit. You know what I'm saying? Like when there's 5 minutes left, you're down 8. When it's 3 minutes left, you're down 6. When it's 1 minute left, you're down 5 or 4. Like you're not close enough given the amount of time. You're getting it closer, but the time, you're running out of time. You're not getting it close enough given the time you have. I hate that. I hate that. And that's how I felt tonight. It was annoying, man. Very annoying. DG, what's up, bro? I was there. Detroit showed up. They low-key disappointed. Yeah, which one is it, bro? Did they show up or disappoint? Because I did not feel like they showed up tonight. I did not feel like the Pistons showed up tonight. They tried. They gave effort, but they didn't execute at all. He just didn't do it. Too many mistakes. Too many mistakes in this game. But shout out to you for being at that game, for sure. Let us know anything else you saw or observed that was on camera. All right, let's get to our last starter, guys. Let's get to JD and we'll get to the bench and then we'll look at the standings, all right? JD tonight had 14 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 1 turnover on 5 for 5 shooting, 4-6 from the line in 27 minutes. So one rebound away from another double-double from JD. And so here's the thing, guys. My expectation for JD is rising, right? As he gets better, my standard for him is rising, right? I'm putting more and more on his plate in my mind, as far because what he's doing now, I've been thought he could do. I've been saying like he could be this guy. Like, what's going on? It just doesn't look right, JD. This doesn't look like you. What's going on? Early in the season when he was playing soft by his own standards, he even said it, right? So it's good to see him finally getting to where I thought he would be. So now, like, all right, fine, you're finally here now. Let's go. Let's go. Push you more. You got more. You definitely got more. Come on, let's go. So even though he had 14 and 9 tonight with 3 assists, which is good, 2 blocks, good, 1 turnover, good. 5 for 5 from the field, great. 4-6 from the line, great. Or solid, not great, solid, right? I still feel like he should have did more. I still feel like JD should have done more as far as from an impact standpoint. Now, he did, to his credit, he was contesting everything. Like it's not an effort thing tonight from JD. It's not an effort. I don't think he was lacking any effort. But I tweeted early in this game that JD needed to dominate this game. Dominate this game on both ends of the court. Because the Mavs bigs tonight were Kai Jones and Dwight Powell. They didn't have their 3 rotational bigs. They didn't have AD. They didn't have Derek Lively. They didn't have Daniel Gafford. Those are the 3 big guys that they play. Powell doesn't even play. Dwight Powell does not play. Kai Jones doesn't even play. Like, when those guys are healthy, he don't even play. So early in this game, I was a little disappointed because JD was not as aggressive as I thought he should have been. He should have been looking for barbecue chicken every single time down the court. Like, he should have been moving guys out of that painted area, grabbing every rebound, offensive or defensive, to where they got to put 2 bodies on him every single time. The way in football, when they always say we got to put 2 guys on Aiden Hutchinson because he's just so big and strong and quick, tonight, it should have been 2 guys trying to box out JD, which should have made it easier for guys like Tobias to go get the board, right? And tonight, I just didn't feel like he was aggressive enough as far as just dominating and bullying those smaller guys, those less talented guys in the paint. He did later in the game, but early in the game, as far as setting that tone, I didn't feel like he really did that. So, he got it going in the second quarter, which I got to give him credit for. In the second half, he really got it going more so. But early on, after that first quarter, he must have either looked at the box score or somebody got in his ear about it and told him, bro, what you doing? Come on, man. You got to dominate this game. You got to dominate. Get in there and dominate. They're too little. So, to his credit, he did score the Pistons' last 6 points going into half, or 6 of the last Pistons' 7 points going into halftime. So, the second quarter, he got to it, right? And his effort, like I mentioned, effort was off the charts. He was chasing down loose balls. He was grabbing offensive rebounds. He was contesting everything at the rim, like I said. And you could see, if you watched, he was visibly gassed. He was tired at times in this game. But his effort didn't tail off. He still continued to pursue the basketball. After every shot, he was still rotating and he was just playing all-out effort. All-out effort. So that's growth on his part. Even though he wasn't offensively aggressive like I wanted to see, the effort on the defensive end was there. So that was good to see from JD. Overall, solid game from JD. I'm not mad at JD at all in this game, for sure. Okay. Organic Nino says Clay is more watched than a restaurant fork. we're gonna talk about Clay, not his box score, but some things I saw in this game when it comes to Klay Thompson. That was interesting. DG, Deuce, my fault. The Detroit fans showed up big time. Lots of Cade and Ron representation. We couldn't get loud one time. man, oh man. That's good to hear. That's good to hear that Cade and Ron has support in the building. A lot of Pistons fans showed up. That's cool. That's good to hear, man. I'm glad you got a chance to get to the game. All right, man. Let's get to the bench. Man, okay, let's see what happened tonight. Let's start with Simone Fontecchio, guys. Fontecchio had 4 points, 1 steal, 4 points, 1 steal, and that's it. I was looking for more, and I didn't see more. I'm used to seeing more the last few games with him, other than just scoring. But tonight, he didn't really do much other than that. So he had 4 points and 1 steal on 2 of 5 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3, 16 minutes. This is tough, man. This is I'm going back and forth with Fontecchio right now, guys. I don't know really how to feel right now. Like, I'm trying to give him some grace because I do see that the Pistons have been using him a little bit differently lately. And I understand he's not going to play great every game, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough for him right now. I don't know what's going on, but he's just not really as impactful as I was hoping he would be this year. He didn't play great, and he couldn't shoot it straight tonight. He could not get anything to fall. He had 2 open shots, 2 open threes. I think he did make 1 shot from the midi, but I think that was it. His 2 open threes he missed. We talk about Tobias missing threes from the corner. Fontecchio too. He has not been consistent with his 3-ball this year at all. And it looked tonight like when he lost his confidence because his jumper wasn't falling, he reverted back again to putting the ball on the floor instead of moving the ball. Tried to get to the rim, bad misses at the rim, almost turning the ball over. I just can't stand when he does that. I can't stand when he does that because it never works out well. Like 8 times out of 10, it's either a missed shot or a turnover. And I'm getting tired of talking about it, man. It's getting really exhausting talking about the same old things over and over again. But, the last few games, he's been impactful, hustle plays and things like that. Tonight, not so much. And once again, I'm not mad at the shot not falling. I wish it would more because that's part of why he's here. But it's not always going to. But when it's not, how else are you impacting the game? And I really don't feel like he's impacting the game much, like other guys who we'll get to, which takes us to let's go to Isaiah Stewart. Let's go Isaiah Stewart. We're gonna get a few guys on the bench and we'll get to the standings. So tonight, guys, Isaiah Stewart had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 assists, 1 block on 4 of 6 shooting in 20 minutes. So another solid game from Stu. Like, at this point, it's like ho-hum with Isaiah Stewart. And the stat sheet does not always tell the story. He contested so many shots for misses tonight at the rim. And those will never show up on the stat sheet. But just his presence is always felt. And the biggest thing with him, I talked about JD, right? About as far as him having a mouse in the house guarding him for most of the game, right? Because the Dallas Mavericks were just too small. And with Stu, he approached this game the way I hoped JD would. Like, he approached his game with, like, he could tell there was blood in the water when it came to, the lack of size for the Mavericks. Because like I mentioned, they're undersized up front. So Stu got the memo. Because when he came into the game, every time on offense, he was setting up shot in the paint and calling for the ball. Like 4 or 5 plays in a row, he was just setting up shop, getting position, sealing his man off, catching the ball when they would get it to him, go to his move, go to a post move, jump hook, bucket. Keep it simple, right? That's one thing we learned, the acronym KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Or keep it simply simple, whatever. But the point is that Isaiah Stewart understands who he is, and he plays winning basketball. He plays winning basketball. He's just going to be who he is, game over game over game over game. And I don't think I'm ever going to have to come on here and talk about how disappointed I was with his effort. because he always gives effort every single game. Every game. It's not what he does, it's who he is. He doesn't know anything different. All right. So let's go to the next guy. Let's go to Dennis Schroeder. So Dennis Schroeder tonight, guys, had 11 points, 4 assists, 3 boards, 1 steal, 4 turnovers on 3 of 7 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3-point, 3 of 4 from the free throw line in 31 minutes. 31 minutes because Asar played 16. That's why Schroeder played so many minutes tonight. That's why a few guys played a lot of minutes tonight. But he was solid. 4 turnovers to 4 assists is not good. That's a 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. That's not good. You want to at least, at very minimum, a 2-to-1. And we didn't get that from him. But he did make a lot of big plays in this game. In the second half, he strapped up on defense. He was getting all up in the Spencer Dinwiddie, and making things tough for him, drawing offensive fouls, trying to turn him over, just making plays. Just making plays, man. A lot of savvy veteran plays that he made in this game that helped the Pistons. He was able to get into the paint, kick it out for shooters, knock down shots, right? So he was solid all around. He gave the Pistons a spark that they needed when they lost Tim Hardaway Jr. Like I mentioned, if TSJ is playing in this game, I think we win. I think we win. All that penetration off the dribble that we were allowing because we didn't have guys like a star in the game, I think Tim would have helped with that. I'm not saying he would have been turning guys over, but he would not have been allowing guys to just get to wherever they want to get to every single time on the court. That's what he's good at. He's good at individual defense. He's good at that. He's good at team defense as well. He's good at rotation. He's good with rotating well. He understands how to play the game. So you won't see these eye-popping plays from him because it's not glamorous basketball. But he just makes good plays that help you win. And with him not being there tonight, you saw the difference with the penetration. Guys getting wherever they wanted on the court. A lot of it was Asar not being there, but a lot of it was also Tim Hardaway Jr. not being available. Both of those things were a big part of this loss. So that's what happened, man. That's what happened. And I hear you, Sean, saying we shouldn't need THJ to win this game. I disagree. You need everybody to win the game. That's the point. When you lose games by 6 points on the road, you need your role players to step up. You absolutely need that, especially when you're a team built on defense, right? The thing that was killing us in this game late was dribble penetration. The thing that could have helped that was having a guy like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Asar Thompson on the floor. Both of those guys are 2 of the best on this team at staying in front defensively. Those are 2 of the best players on this team as far as staying in front. You need that. You need that. You absolutely need that. And I'm not disputing this, Sean. I'm not disputing that. But a lot of that is effort. A lot of that is effort. And the guys tonight did not consistently play with effort. They didn't. They played down to the competition. And what do Tim Hardaway Jr. and Asar Thompson both play with? Effort. That's why you need those guys in the game. That's why you need them in the game. And Jerry, this is what I said earlier. I think this is going to happen. If Hardaway misses any games, Jerry says, I would like to see Waters get a few more minutes. I think it's inevitable that he does, because I think now Beasley is going to start, because Beasley is the most comfortable bench player with the starters, right? He started already earlier this season when guys were hurt, when Tim Hardaway Jr. got hurt. I think Beasley started then when he hurt his head, right? Taking the charge. So I think that's the move, which opens up minutes for the backup shooting guard spot, which Beasley usually has. And to me, the best option is Lindy Waters. That's kind of where I would go. So Jerry, yeah, I agree with you there. Devon says, I don't think people value our vets. THJ, Schroeder, and Harris have been on a winning team. Yes. Yeah, they know how to play the game. That's what I'm saying. It's not always eye-popping, but it's impactful. You're not always going to get guys getting steals or getting crazy blocks swatting shots out of bounds, getting crazy. Like, no. When THJ doesn't get beat on the back door, the pass doesn't get through, and the play continues on. If he had not had his head on a swivel and prevented that and allowed us guy to get open for a backdoor, it's glaring because they got an easy bucket. Those are the kind of plays that Tim Hardaway Jr. makes or prevents. That's why he's important. He understands how to play the game. And understanding how to play the game doesn't always mean it's glamorous. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. All right, so let's get back to this game. So that was Schroeder. Schroeder was solid. He was solid. I don't want to see him playing 30 minutes, though. Don't want to see that. All right, let's get to Malik Beasley. Beasley has 16 points, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover, on 5 for 15 shooting. Not great. 5 for 11 from 3. 1 of 1 from the free throw line in 36 minutes. Beasley played 36 minutes. Guys, he was gassed. If you guys watch this game, Beasley was gassed. I think that's part of why he shot 5 for 15, because he was chasing guys around. I got to give him credit, man. He's not a great defender, but he is a willing defender. He's a willing defender. I'm seeing him switch on guys, picking up guys, communicating, calling out screens, trying to box out, trying to get his nose in there to grab boards. Like, he tries, man. He tries. And we can't expect all these guys to be perfect at everything. We know Beasley is one of the best shooters in the world in the NBA this season. So we can't, he's not the best defender. That's okay. He's trying. He's giving effort. But he was gassed. He's not used to playing 36 minutes this year. I don't know if he's played that much the whole season, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see, man. But it was tough for him. But that 36-minute mark of tough defense, that's why he was 5 for 15 from the floor. That's why he didn't shoot it straight tonight. Because his legs, which is what he uses mostly to get his shots up, right? He shoots from his legs. So you need to be able, and honestly, most guards do. A lot of big guys who can shoot, it's all upper body. But smaller guys, guards, they got to get their legs into the shot to generate the momentum to get the shot up. So guys like Beasley really are affected by that. They're affected by that. And you can see it in their legs when they're missing shots. And you can point to the minutes played, and you can point to how they're playing on the defensive end. And you can live with it. I can live with 5 for 15. It's not ideal, but when he's playing hard defensively, trying to step up in a role that he's not used to, it's okay, fine. I can live with that, Bees. It's cool. You playing your tail off, bro. You're trying. You're trying to play the right way. That's all you can ask for. You just reminded me of something. Devon says, Cade isn't in condition. He's going to really break out next year. Yeah, next year's a wrap, bro. Next year's a wrap. Listen, we're just getting started with Cade, man. Cade is just getting started. I do think next season he's going to get a more favorable whistle, too. The whistle is going to be much more favorable for Cade next season. I truly believe that. Because the league sometimes is slow and late with getting the memo with stars. A lot of time there's a delay. Even though we see it, even like once the media push hits and is established, it doesn't really come until the next season after that to when you consistently start seeing guys get the memo, seeing officiators or officiating get the memo, seeing refs get the memo. So next season it's on. Especially if he makes first team or second team All-NBA. There's no way he's not going to get more calls next year. No way. For sure. All right. Let's get to the last bench guy. And I saved him for a reason, guys. I saved the last guy for a reason. Ron Holland, man. Ron Holland. Wow. I'm going to read the stats, but that's not what I want to focus on with Ron Holland. He had 12 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, 4 turnovers, on 5 for 9 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, in 12 minutes. 12 points. He did all that in 12 minutes. 12 points, 5 boards, 2 steals, 1 assist in 12 minutes. So let me start with this. Before the game started, right, Coach Bickerstaff talked about Ron Holland and his impact. And shout out to Cody Davis, beat writer, Pistons beat writer, Cody Davis. Shout out to him for asking the question and getting the answer. And Coach basically said that when Ron's in the game, he makes an impact. And that word is the word that I've been using for months. Not just about him, but about everybody on this team. Impact, impact, impact. I've said it all year. I'm going to say it probably for the duration that I have this channel and I'm on this channel talking to y'all. That's what matters here. For the Detroit Pistons teams, it's all about your impact. It's not about the standings or the scoreboard or the box scores. It's all about impact, not always about glamorous things. That's not always the case. It's impact. How are you impacting the basketball game? And that is Ron Holland in one word. Impact. He is he finds a way to create some kind of momentum or to be impactful in a positive way for this team more times than not when he's in the game. And tonight was no different. He came into this game and made impactful plays on 4 straight possessions. First 4 possessions, he came in and was impactful. First one, offensive rebound, right? Dribble drive for a nice drop-off pass for a layup, right? Dribble drive for an and one. And for good measure, he knocked down a 3, wide open 3. He had a few of them tonight. He just continues to do, well, I'm sorry. The first one was an offensive rebound for a putback. Then he had a nice drive for a drop pass for a layup. Then he had another drive for an and one. And then the 3 ball. And then later on, another play where he went back door on Klay Thompson, or on his defender, and Klay Thompson came over to help, and he finished over the top. He finished over the top of Klay Thompson and called him too little. Crazy. This dude is fearless, man. He doesn't care about anybody or anything. All he cares about is winning and going at your head. He wasn't perfect, right? He had a few turnovers in his game, right? He was also loosey-goosey with the ball, which we don't often see with him. He usually is under control on the break. But tonight, he lost the ball, happens, right? He's still a rookie. But even with his mistakes, guys, he does not look like a rookie. He does not look like a rookie, man. He is way ahead of schedule. Just the way this dude carries himself on the court, like he belongs. On one play, he cut to the, like I mentioned, he cut to the basket, and Stu found him for a skip pass, right? So it's just nice to see that he's developing chemistry with his bench brigade, with his guys off the bench. And Stu's getting better too, with finding guys who are cutting to the basket. Stu's vision and his passing is getting better too. But Ron, man, he just finds a way to be impactful, man. He's fearless. He's fearless. So I have a question for you guys. And listen, y'all know I put stuff out there, and I'm gonna get your feedback. But I know it's early. But from what I'm seeing from Ron as a rookie already, I'm not saying tomorrow, but is it possible that Ron may be a starter sooner than later in the not so distant future? I don't know. I'm just looking at things that we need, ingredients that this team needs. And I understand having guys off the bench is important and having bench depth is important. But I'm looking at Ron Holland, man. And I'm looking at the impact that he's making on both ends of the court. I'm looking at how he's playing great perimeter defense, shutting guys down on the perimeter. I'm looking at how he is grabbing boards, playing big. The way we say Asari can do it, Ron can also do it. He gets on the glass. He darts from the 3-point line on missed shots and goes and gets the rebound. He plays like Isaiah Stewart does, just on the perimeter. He is very, very impactful. So I know it's early. I'm not saying tomorrow, but I don't think it's too far of a stretch to say that it's possible he could be garnering some real consideration for a starting spot soon. So I'm going to leave that there, right? I'm going to leave that there. I don't really know what his ceiling is, but it's very, very high. Very, very high, man. And he's not afraid to shoot the ball either. He's not a great shooter, but when he catches it, he's not thinking twice. He's going straight up, right? And that's what you have to do. So we'll see. We'll see. And Sean, that's the thing. I love Asar and Ron too, but I didn't mention them playing together in the starting lineup. Just saying, it's early. It's early, but I'm watching that closely because we're going to need guys on the court who can shoot the basketball and who are willing to shoot the basketball and who can consistently make plays on both ends that are positive and not net negatives that are hurting us. So, like I said, I'm gonna leave it there. I'll let you guys do with that what you will, but I'm just gonna continue to watch and see how this dynamic plays out because the Pistons have a lot of options with their flexibility. They're very versatile. And the reason they're versatile is because they have not gone and got a star player and broken the bank to go get a star player, as I mentioned earlier. So we'll see. We'll see, guys. So once again, tough loss, man. The Pistons right now, I think they dropped to 39-32 on the season. So they're still in solid play. I already told you guys, I want to see I want to see the Pistons right where we are in 6th spot. I don't want to play Pacers. I don't want to play the Bucks. I want to play the Knicks. The only way to play the Knicks is to stay where we are right now. So we'll see. So with that, let's go ahead and pull up the standings. We're going to take a look at that really quickly before we get out of here. And then we will call it a night. I believe the Pistons next game, they play the Pelicans. So hopefully they can bounce back after this loss and go from there. But for now, excuse me, let's take a look at the standings, guys. And let me refresh this now because the Pistons just lost this game. So let's see where we are now. All right. So as of right now, we are 39 and 32, right in snug in that 6th spot. 5 games above the Hawks, who are not catching us, as I mentioned. They're not going to catch us. They're too inconsistent. We are 1 game back of the Bucks and 2 games back of the Pacers, which is exactly where I want to be. I thought this was going to happen, guys. It's still 11 games left, but I think the way the standings are right now is how they're going to finish. I think the top 6 is going to be just like this. The Pistons have some tough games coming up. I think against the Cavs, the Thunder again. So it's not going to be a cakewalk the rest of the way. That's why the Pistons had to get games like this one, like the one against the Wizards that they took lightly after beating them the first time. Right? You got to get those games if you really want to move up, because the teams ahead of you are going to continue to win. Look at this. Look at this over here. Pacers won 3 straight. Bucks just won theirs. Knicks have lost 2 straight. They're going the wrong way. The Celtics have won 4 straight. The Cavaliers surprisingly have lost 4 straight, which is strange. But yeah, I think it's going to stay just like this. Just like this. Bucks and Pacers, let them duke it out. Let them fight over it. Let them, and then we'll play one of them when the time comes, if we can beat the Knicks. Right? We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But that's kind of how I see it, guys. I don't want us to go any higher or lower, or any higher, because we're not going to go lower. But that would be ideal for me, for us, right now. So we'll see what happens with that. Let me check a few more comments and we'll get out of here, guys. All right. So let's see. Sean, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate, yeah, hit the like button, man. If you guys haven't already subscribed, if you like the content, subscribe if you want. If not, I understand. But you know, if you're rocking with your boy, subscribe. We're doing this the rest of the season and in the postseason, which is gonna be fun, right? Yeah. Shift God, what's up, bro? What up, dope dudes? For sure, man. Yeah. So Monolando says Bucks versus Pacers. Yes, that's gonna be how I think it plays out. Hey, let the Bucks Pacers get tired. Devon says, let the Bucks Pacers get tired and we play the tired team. Yeah, like the Knicks is the best option, guys. It's the best option. With Jalen Brunson out right now, when he comes back, he's not going to be the same Jalen Brunson. He's not going to come right back to the guy he was before he got hurt. He's going to take time to get back, right? So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But I think the Pistons should be licking their chops to play the Knicks right now. Not disrespecting them either, man. Like they're still a very good team. I just think we are the wrong matchup for them. I think we are the worst matchup for them between those 3 teams. I think we are. So we'll see. And I think they're the best matchup for us, more importantly. So we'll see, guys. But the Pistons' next game is against the Pelicans. And let me see when that game actually is. And we'll see when they play. They play the Pelicans on, let's see, what is today? Okay, they play the Pelicans not tomorrow, because I got my days mixed up. But the day after tomorrow, because it's 12:40 right now, Saturday night. So they play Sunday at 3 o'clock. So, and that's the home game. Bounce back and get that game. Let me pull it up for you guys so you guys can see what the schedule's looking like with me, and then we'll get out of here. So as of right now, we play the Pelicans on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Then we got the Spurs also at home on Tuesday, and then it gets tough. Cavaliers on next Friday. Timberwolves on the road on next Sunday. The Thunder, it's going to be tough. So the next 3 games, well, the next 2 games are gettable. Very, very gettable games. Got to beat the Pelicans again. Got to beat the Spurs without Wemby if you want to continue to move up. But once again, I like the Cavaliers game, Timberwolves game, Thunder game. If we lose those, I'm not mad. I don't want to lose all of them. But if we lose a couple of those, 1 or 2 of those, I want to stay at 6. I want to stay at 6. The only way to stay at 6 is to not go on a crazy win streak. Or if one of those teams above us to just have a slump. But I don't see that with either one of those teams, which is why I don't want to play them, because they're clicking at the right time. So we are going to leave it there, guys. Great stream as always. Great show always with you guys. I appreciate you guys' support. You guys always show up and show out. And once again, it's Friday night, so go have fun, have a great weekend. Go turn up, turn down, whatever you want to do. Spend time with your kids, family members, whatever, loved ones. But be safe. Be safe, be safe, be safe. It's getting warm outside. It's getting to be a spring weather, so we can all enjoy it together. We're going to have some spring playoff games, guys. We can go to some Pistons games in shorts, in J's, instead of jeans, a mink coat, and Timberlands, which is going to be great for the culture, right? It's going to be great for the culture to be able to go some games comfortably and not always have to layer up all the time. So it's going to be fun. But as always, guys, I appreciate your support. You guys always show me love. Always show me support, and that means a lot to me. So with that, I will see you guys Sunday afternoonish, evening, after the Pistons game at 3 o'clock against the Pelicans. I'll probably be here at 6 o'clock post game, and we can all talk about that hopefully win after the game. So with that, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys next show. Detroit versus everybody. Peace.